Bianca Torre. So Bianca, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Definitely, yeah. We're a little bit behind schedule. Had a little bit of a small
Technical
technical.
difficulties, yeah.
Right, but I think that technical difficulties are just coming with the territory these days on people trying to adjust to online learning and trying to adjust to uh, doing stuff virtually. So it's not a problem at all. But Bianca, how have you been? And how have you been? We're these days we're allowed to go places these days, so the restrictions aren't as strict as they were. So just how have you been?
I've been doing well. Yeah, so even with all this stuff, I still try not to go out because you just never know. I mean, it is kind of still serious and all this that is going on. But I mean, I've been doing well, and I am a teacher at Edinburgh High School. And like you said, with the technical stuff, we right after all this stuff we heard about during the spring break, we had to switch gears and go online, and so that all that was new as well. But I think our district did a really good job at showing us what to do and trying to help the students. They gave options online, also options for the packets. So we kind of just rolled with the punches and went along with it. But yeah, I just hope all this goes away eventually, because just to get back to just, I don't want to say normalized, but just going back to, the way we've been living, I guess, not being afraid, not having to wear the mask and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I've been doing well, still working out. Actually, with Coach Engelman on Camp Gladiator. She's a trainer now. So
There you go.
working out on there online. But,
Yeah. So while you're in quarantine, what did you do to keep sane? Because for sports people like us, we need our sports, and I know April was a bit of a rough patch when it came to looking for sports.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't watch too much NBA, but it was just really weird. I guess I realized like I really missed it because you watch things and it's like pre-recorded showings or pre-recorded games. It's like, that's so weird. Like, I don't know, it stink, but are just missing sports in general, mainly basketball, of course. But like you, I know you're a big baseball fan. So it's just weird not having that. Even though it was on like pre-recorded, it still wasn't the same. And so I'm really excited about NBA hopefully coming back soon, so that, like I said, just getting back to normal, I guess, seeing everything, and maybe going to games too live. My husband and I, we like going to the Spurs games, so hopefully catch one of those eventually.
Right. Yeah. Did you binge watch anything? Netflix or did you?
Netflix. I actually got to watch the All American series thing. That was pretty interesting. But not so much binge watch. Show is more like movies. I got to see that, what is it called? The Wrong Missy. That was really funny. I did watch that Tiger King, some other ones, but I'm used to watching like the same movie. I can watch like the same movies all the time. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. March 13th came, and that was when everyone was going out for spring break. From our side, we had softball games lined up. Some of them were starting to get postponed, getting pushed back. We were able to still find a softball game in Brownsville that night, but that was the last game we covered this year so far. What was it like, leaving the school and then eventually hearing that you guys weren't going back at all? Because I know there was a period where the potential of going back, not only for sports coming back, May 4th, excuse me, it was March 29th, and then it was May 4th was that second date we were all hoping for. Just talk about that time in between, what it was like with just the uncertainty of, are we going back to school? Are we going to play sports? And just the uncertainty we were all going through.
Well, it was actually for me on that Thursday, before school let out that Friday. That was my last day of work, actually, because I didn't go to school on Friday. My brother-in-law got married, so I traveled out of town, actually. So Thursday was the last day I got to see the kids, and I was actually at the track meet at Cats Stadium. We had the Cats meet, so I was there, and one of my throwers was actually doing really well again. Branda Sanchez, she had thrown, what was it, 39, I think. And so I was just really excited to see her growth the next couple of meets. But then, like I said, like during spring break, we're enjoying, I guess, our break. But then hearing that we might not be able to go back, it was like, man, like a lot of the kids had opportunities to, just do better in track. And we were actually doing well with our sprinters and our relays. We had a really young group. So the fact that it got cut off short, I know it's saddening to them, but yeah, I don't know. It's just the whole idea of it all. Just, I don't know. It's really sad. I just hate talking about it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because as a former athlete and a competitor that you are, I mean, we're one and the same there. You just couldn't imagine being told that your senior season is being cut short.
Yeah, and like I said, Brianna Sanchez, she made it to state as a junior, so we were just hoping big things from her, and also other throwers, Alexis Cruz, things, people like that, and it's just you can't even put yourself in that situation because it never happened to us, So as you can try to say as many things like, oh, it's okay, but we really don't understand the magnitude of what they were really feeling during that time. So,
right,
yeah, it just stinks.
Yeah, and we're now looking forward to the June 8th date on what may happen with as far as the athletes being able to go back into their schools, and of course following the social distancing guidelines. With what you can share, what does Edinburgh High have in plan for athletics?
I don't know. I don't think it's June 8th. I think we might start the following week. But regardless, obviously there's going to be limited people, I'm sure, and then having to wear the mask and just rotations so that there's more kids that can attend, but limited, of course, and the social distancing while we're there as well. So, yeah, that's all I know for the most part, to be honest.
Right, yeah, no, that's okay, because I know, and that's different because some schools, June 8th you can start, but some schools are starting later. Some schools are going to start right on June 8th. So just all the schools are just working differently.
Yeah, that's the last I heard. But like I said, I mean, there's a lot of changes. So, I mean, that's what I heard last. So.
Definitely. Switching gears just a little bit and talking, we're going to wind the clock back just a little bit and talk about your Harlingen South days and the mark you left there at Harlingen South. When people talk about Bianca Torre, the legend at South, they always say the work ethic. The work ethic is the first thing that comes out of coaches when we talk about you, the war stories, whenever we're at South. I know there's stories of you showing up before morning practices to get your workouts in. Basketball, was it always your sport growing up?
I played different sports, volleyball, basketball, track. I did all that, especially in middle school. You're kind of forced to do that. But basketball was just like the best game to me. I just fell in love with it, and I just had a passion, a drive, and I just became very committed at a young age to be the best player that I could be. I didn't try to compete with others and trying to be like them. I know when I was younger, there was a coach that told me that. There's one day I told him I want to be like so-and-so, and he's like, don't be like them, be like yourself, make a name for yourself. And once he told me that at a young age, I was like, man, like that's what I need to work towards, And so that's what I did. And luckily for me at Harlingen South, there was just a lot of great coaches. Starting from volleyball, I had Coach Lunsford and Coach Garza. And then basketball, of course, I had Coach Esparza and Coach John Engelman. And then I'm going on to track, Coach Cruz and Coach Bennett. And those coaches are just, they set the standard. And so, yeah, I worked hard and things like that. But it started with them, and they were very disciplined with their students and athletes. And so it just became a routine. Like you do that every day, day in and day out. And so it was just amazing at South. I loved it there. And our saying was a step above. And that's truly how we felt, as athletes, as students walking in on campus, that we were the best that we could be because of our surroundings, our teachers, our staff, everybody there. So yeah, Harlingen South is just amazing. That pride. Even now I walk in and still smells the same. Like a lot of the coaches are still there, familiar faces, and it's amazing. They did a really good job there.
Yeah, it does. You mentioned all those things. It does every time I go back into that gym. When was it in your career that you said like, hey, this is the sport basketball that I need to hone in on, and I got a shot to be really good at this?
I don't want to say, I guess I'll say middle school. I don't want to say that I knew right there in the end that I was going to become a Division I athlete, but I knew in middle school. I actually wrote, I don't know, I think it's for a speech class. I wrote a letter and I still have it. And it just talks about, I guess my tryouts in middle school. I didn't think I was going to make it because I missed a layup. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make the B team because I missed a layup. And then it just goes on to say that, like how I just wanted to be the best. Like I was saying earlier, I wanted to be the best basketball player that I could be. And so that's what I did. I just continued to work hard. And then when I got to high school, I made varsity as a freshman. And like I said, head coach Engelman, every practice of hers was intense. Like I don't even think we ever got a day off. We were practicing Monday through Saturday, every day, all day. Okay, not literally, right? Within the hours. But I think my sophomore year when I was getting looked at by UTPA, I realized like, man, this is really what I want. I want to play at the next level. And then I actually started playing with the summer team out in Houston. And a lot of people think, man, Bianca might have just had it good. She was really good in the Valley, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, like I had a few setbacks when I played on that Houston elite team. I really didn't play much in a tournament. That was the summer going to my junior year. And that was just a time where I was like, man, like, if this is going to be me in college, like, I don't want that feeling. Like, I don't want to sit the bench. So I remember those days where I felt like, nah, it's okay. I don't have to work out. I told myself, like, I do not want to feel the same feeling I felt being on that bench. So I know that summer was a big summer for me. And I worked out extremely hard. I trained with Arnold Martinez and put in just a lot of work, a lot of commitment for sure. And though I guess I would say my sophomore year was a time where I really felt like, man, like I want to play at the next level. And that was just a goal of mine to compete at that level, the highest level there is, at the college level. So, yeah.
The 2009 team you were on is regarded by a lot of coaches as one of the better teams in the Valley, when you were there and the things that you and Coach Engelman did. I have a little surprise for you here if I can pull it up. See if I can grab it here. There we go. That's your squad.
Yeah, that's my squad. That was actually 2007, 2008. I was a junior that year. No, I was a sophomore that year. I was a sophomore, but yeah, most of those girls were on from their freshman year. So.
Yeah,
right. It's a team where we're putting our hands up towards Coach Engelman, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my sophomore year, but every
there
year,
you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We were praising Coach Engelman. She was an awesome coach, man.
What was special about these years at South? Obviously we're playing with Coach Engelman, and like I said, we went back to that 2009 team, and just what was special about these years that you had there at South?
Well, yeah, every year is special and is different every year, but all the same because of Coach Engelman. I really think that she put that drive in us. She put that, that hard work, that determination, just every year. And there wasn't too many athletes on varsity. I think we probably only had 11-man, maybe 12-man team. And so you have all these girls with you day in and day out, just working hard for our coach, obviously, but because we also love the game. And I know before our games, it would get very emotional in the locker room. We'd play like Christian music, and obviously we had like pumped up music, I guess, before, but when it was like almost time to go, we'd always play like a Christian song, and we would just get our minds right. And everybody was just very passionate on the team. And I think the fact that we were able to see how everybody worked hard for each other and for others, it just made the goal a little bit easier. And it was, I don't know, it was just very, I don't know what I would say, but I guess passionate. Every year, every team was passionate about the sport, but they are also very caring and giving to each other on the team. But everybody worked hard. There wasn't one person. I mean, yeah, there have been days maybe they had a bad day and they might have not wanted to practice, but we always just came together and found a way to get to our goal, which every year was to win district and to go far in the playoffs.
That 2009 team, when was it that year that you guys felt that you had something special? Was it preseason? Was it maybe a tournament game or a non-district game where you guys found that switch, or was it always there?
No, yeah, I believe it was always there. Like I said, my sophomore year, there was like 4 to 5, maybe more, 5 or 6 freshman kids on the team as a sophomore. And I know we actually won district that year. And a lot of people prior to the season were like, oh, no, they're not going to do well and this and that. And so the fact that we won district and the fact that those girls were on varsity already as a freshman, those next few years really helped build them, not just in skill, but, in their mental aspect and physical aspect. Because I know Coach Engelman demanded a lot from us. So senior year was kind of like, I knew it was my last year and the majority of the girls were juniors. So they were just going to give anything that they could for the 3 seniors that are on the team and for them as well, for themselves. But yeah, Harlingen South, man, this is just
Definitely.
awesome. But yeah, I would say from the beginning of the year, we knew that we could do something very special.
When was it, you not that when was it, but you graduate, you go to Pan Am. We're going to circle back to Pan Am, but right now that we're on the topic of high school basketball, we've seen plenty of really good teams. You right in your backyard with Edinburgh High, with Coach JD Salinas and what they've done with the Jaylas of the
Santa
world, and
Maria.
now the Santa Maria girls, the Bria Sanchez's, Leslie Martinez. And then in your backyard home in Harlingen, Harlingen High, the things they've done these past years, Coach Fino at Westlaco, Coach A at Memorial. Where do you feel girls basketball is at right now in the Valley from the time, because we're both 2010, right? Class of 2010?
Yeah, I'm 2009. I'm a little older, but yeah.
You're 1 year older than me, but we're in the
older.
same realm. But where
Yeah.
do you feel high school basketball is at from then until now, and just the progress that it's made?
I think they're going in the right direction. I know, like the school that you said, starting with Edinburgh High School, is Coach Salinas and Coach Olvera doing an amazing job, really trying to get the athletes tone their skills and all that. And then seeing that Coach Fino, she was in our district at the time when I was on the girls staff. She was just awesome. I love seeing her coach, and I love that every year she got the girls to get after it, no matter what kind of level they were at. She just got them after it. Then Harlingen High, I mean, we played them every year when I was in high school. So, meant a little bit more too from Harlingen. But yeah, Coach Monsiváis does a really good job as well. And she's had like a really good crop coming in, and she's doing a really good job just trying to get them to really good basketball players. Very scrappy, but also very aggressive. But when time comes, I mean, they win ball games. And then, at Edinburgh High, when they went to Sweet 16, I was really, really excited because it hadn't been in a while. I think the last time was when it was either Salinas' first year, but before that, for sure, was when I was in high school with Mara Guzman and those greats from those years. So it was just really cool being able to bring that back. And I know that it's a goal to continue to do it every year. That's just always a goal for them.
And I know,
yeah.
Harlingen High and Edinburgh High have developed a little bit of a rivalry when it comes to girls basketball. I know it's the past couple of years, it's been the first game on the schedule, and we've seen, we saw Edinburgh High in the third round, knock them out a couple years ago. Then we saw, that double OT game. I think you were there.
I was there. Yeah, it was crazy.
Harlingen.
And then, I remember that game. I went to double overtime. But after the game too, you just see the girls, their face, they were just so exhausted, and it just takes a lot out of them. Like, yeah, they're in the shape they need to be for the most part, but it takes a lot, especially those games, like the fans, just the crowd, just the energy and everything. But yeah, those games are really, really fun to watch.
I remember that game being 1, crazy, and 2, that was the same day it snowed.
Yeah.
It snowed that morning.
Yeah.
So
it was.
Yeah, so it snowed that morning, so that was fun. And then I was like, oh, we have Edinburgh High Harlingen tonight in Harlingen. I remember I was excited, and I hadn't seen JD in a while, so I remember seeing him that night at the game. It was kind of like a reunitement of sorts. But flipping back to you and your time at Harlingen South, then you go to UTPA. What was that transition like for you, and what was the recruiting process like for you on going to Pan Am?
Like I said, like my sophomore year, they had been looking at me already. But I guess at the moment I was like, nah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what school I want to go to. But then towards the end of my junior year, I decided like, that's where I want to be. So my senior year, I signed. But the transition was very difficult, I'd say. I was in a pretty good condition, like I said, because Coach Engelman, she had us in tip top shape. And my skill, I think, was okay. But then when I got there, like the speed is so much different. It's not that like they're faster. It's just the speed goes on for a longer period of time. And so it's different. That jump was very different. And I struggled the first few games for sure. I had like probably 10 turnovers one of my first games. And I was thinking, man, like, what did I get myself into? Like, this is too much. I don't know why I did this. But then obviously I just went back to the reasons why I started playing the game. And just because I loved it so much, I told myself, you could do this. And after a few of my games, I got into it, and I actually ended up doing very well my freshman year. I got newcomer of the year, second team all tournament, all conference. So it was a big transition, but it's very possible for any Valley athlete when they get to the next level. It's just about if they really want to, you just really got to set your mind to do it. And whenever you do that, anything is possible.
When was it that you made your decision for Pan Am, and was it shortly after your season, or were there other schools that were also reaching out?
Well, I signed my senior year, but there was a University of South Alabama that was interested. But I was like, nah, they're both D1, and I was like, I'd rather just stay here, UTPA. And so I made that decision. But actually, the summer going to my freshman year, the coach had resigned, so I had an opportunity to go elsewhere. But I was like, no, I'm just going to stay here. So going to UTPA, I actually had a new coach that hadn't recruited me, who became my coach for the next 4 years there at UTPA. So
when was that when was that wow moment for you at Pan Am? That what stood out to you the most? Maybe was it a one specific game, or one play, or what sticks out to your mind when you think about your UTPA days?
I don't know. Just playing basketball, man. I just really loved basketball. There was a time where it was my freshman year. It was the first game of our conference tournament, and I obviously I'm shorter than other people, so I was going up for a rebound, but this girl towered over me and got the rebound, so her elbow came down on my head and slashed. I got a cut on my head, and so they had to give me 10 staples. And so that was early on in the game, and they stapled me up, and then I came out and played the entire second half. And I remember the coach from Houston Baptist told me, man, you have a heart bigger than the size of Texas. And I don't know, I just like hearing comments like that and everything. It just takes me back to just all the times I worked hard there in my driveway, and the extra hours that I put in, and it just all made it worth it. Being at that level. I got to play against Brittany Griner there at Baylor, played against Oklahoma State, big universities. Obviously I would have dreamed of maybe going and playing at, right? But obviously I didn't get a chance, and I got to play there at UTPA, and I never regretted that decision. It's just an awesome experience playing at the next level, and whatever level it is. Honestly, I think every athlete should have that chance and that opportunity. If they're scared, I don't want to move away from my family, I don't want to do this. Like, I really truly believe they should take that opportunity, because it doesn't come around often. I remember one time, actually, Kevin, my sophomore year, we played against Texas State, and that was one of my first games that I scored. I think I scored 34 points, and I was like, what the heck? They told me after, one of my teammates, dude, you scored this many points. And I'm like, no way. And we went to go eat at some restaurant, and so there was this family there, and she told me, one of my teammates told me, hey, BT, that's what they call me. She's like, hey, BT, I bet you if I asked the dad who scored 34 points, I bet you he wouldn't say you. Because I was like the only Mexican on the team, or Hispanic on the team. And I know there's not many at Division I level. I think my freshman year it was only like at 1.9% that played at the Division I. So I just always took pride in that, and that always stuck with me because sometimes I walk into the court, and a lot of athletes will probably look at me like, "Man, this girl can't play ball," and so I don't know. I've just tried to prove them wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, and 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 it was funny because you and I went back to my White Wing days, and we actually had you on our broadcast. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely come a long way, and speaking of
Yeah,
coming a
you
long
were with
ways.
Coach Chase, no, over there.
Yeah, Ron.
He was there with you.
Yeah, Ron
Yeah,
Chase.
he
Yeah,
was a math teacher there at Coakley. So
right.
yeah, it goes back. All the coaches that I had back in the day, like they've had some sort of impact in my life. But yeah, Coach Chase, I remember him being there.
Yeah, from then until now, the transition you've seen UTPA make into UTRGV, and then what the women's program has done. We saw Shantae Goff a couple years ago, Laura Van Tilburg. We're seeing it come up on the rise. What were your thoughts on watching, now these days UTRGV women's basketball at the competitive level that they're at?
It's just really awesome to watch. I know my friend Vicky Peña's there too right now on staff.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun. Like we go to the games, and obviously it's the same court we played on, but it's just a different, not obviously a different level. It's still Division I, but like everything has changed. It's just really cool to see. I mean, they're getting to the championship game in the conference tournaments, like almost having a chance to go to NCAA. Like all that is just so fun, and being here, that still in the Valley, obviously, it's cool to be a part of. It's just pride. I mean, it's hard. I still can't find myself to say UTRGV. I still kind of say UTPA. I don't know if that's bad, but yeah,
no, a lot of people still.
It's really neat. It's really neat to see where they're going and the direction they're headed. And I'm sure within the next year or two, I mean, they're gonna win a championship for the women's basketball. I know volleyball, I think Believe did or almost did. But they're on their way.
They're definitely onto something. So then you play at Harlingen South. You leave a mark there with the Lady Hawks. Then you go to Pan Am. You do work there. Then you find yourself on the Mexican national team. Tell us that story and how that panned out for you, and what made you want to go out for the Mexican national team.
So after my senior season, I had one more year left because I was doing my certification to be a teacher. So I had to do my student teaching and whatnot. So beginning of that year, my last school year, I remember coach reaching out to me asking if I wanted to try out for the Mexico national team. So that, let's say, is in January of 2014. And so I was like, yeah, sure, right? And then all of a sudden graduation comes. It's like May, and I haven't heard from this guy since January. And so then I'm thinking, dude, well, I'm going to start applying for jobs. Like, I'm not just going to be around here, be a bum. So I remember I started applying. I applied to like two different jobs at the same district, and I didn't get hired. And I'm thinking, man, like, what is it? Why am I not getting hired? And then my third job interview, I did well, I guess, in the interview. They called me back. No, I had an interview, let's say Monday. And then on Tuesday, I got a call from the coach, the one that called me back in January. And he's like, hey, will you try out? Will you come to Mexico City and try out on Thursday? And I'm thinking, what the heck? I haven't heard from you since January. And so then I was like, yeah, I'll try out. And then I actually got the call from the interview on Wednesday, and I had to decline because I was like, you know what? I've always had it in my heart to play at the next level. Obviously, a dream of mine was to play in the WNBA, but this is a really cool opportunity as well. And so I had the chance because my dad was actually born in Mexico City. So I was able to go over there, try out, and I tried out for a month. There was two coaches that had been in the WNBA, our assistant and our head coach. So obviously I didn't make WNBA, but it was a really cool experience to be able to get coached under these two coaches over there in Mexico. So we tried out for a month, and I was able to make that list of those 12 athletes that were left. And then the second month we went to Atlanta and we did some training over there at the facility for the Atlanta Dream Team. And then the third month, which was November, that was the month we were going to start our games late November. And so we went back to Veracruz and trained over there. But man, it was pretty tough. I actually was a little heavier set then. So I not only was practicing 2 times a day with the team, I was on this conditioning workout. I had to do an extra 30 minutes on like treadmill workout. So I did an extra that time, I guess. So it was really tough and it was hard. I mean, I was away from home. But you know, it's tough. A lot of athletes, I know it gets tiring, it gets tough, like certain moments when you're training, when you're working out, when you're on a team, you're trying to do something. But you know, you just really got to remember why you did it. And so there's times where I felt like, man, like maybe I shouldn't even be here. And I just thought of all the people that have helped me along the way. I've thought of just things like that, what they've told me, and, you know, just to encourage me and motivate me and keep me there. And so I was able to stick it out. And yeah, I was able to play for them and represent the 2014 national team. And we ended up getting third place. And yeah, it was amazing. And not only did I play the game I love, but I met a lot of lifelong friends there from Mexico, and also met a teammate of mine that was from Wisconsin originally. So it was just fun. These experiences are just amazing. And it's just, you think about it, the game of basketball takes you to all these places. Like I had gone, and it was scary because I had gone with the coach who I didn't even know, and I'm on a plane with him going to Mexico City. And it's like, I'm doing all this because I love this game. And it's scary when you're trying to reach a goal of yours, but sometimes you just got to go with it. And there's going to be some failures while you're there, but in the end, there's always a final destination. And for me, it was getting to play with that team and representing the country of Mexico, and for my family members that also live there. So it was just a unique and amazing experience all in one.
Here you're playing against Canada. What was the most unique country that you played against? That's like, hey, like, you know, Canada, or it's Germany or Russia.
Probably Paraguay, I guess. I would say them. We played against them too in that tournament in 2017. That experience in Mexico, I had gone to call, and then they had given me a 2-week tryout period. And I'm thinking, dude, I'm not even gonna make it. I'm gonna go to just get the experience. I was already coaching at the time, so I was like, well, I'll see what I can learn from this coach and his strategies and his philosophy. So honestly, I wasn't expecting to make the team. I was already 3 or 4 years out of high school. So all these girls are like either still in college or high school, out of college. I mean, these girls are still in college or just graduated. So like, nah, I'm over here gonna be the grandma, just gonna learn. And I actually made the team. So I was like, no way. So that was fun too. But yeah, I guess I would say Paraguay. We played them in that tournament. Obviously we lost, but it was cool. And then for Canada, Kia Nurse was there at the time. So obviously she had just graduated from UConn, or maybe a year out, not too sure. But I mean, I would see her on TV all the time playing against UConn and Notre Dame and with Coach Gino. So I'm like, man, that's so cool. It's just starstruck, just in awe when I would see her. Like, but the cool thing was I got to play against her on the same court. So that was cool.
So it was in a sense, because I remember 2017, I had actually reached out to you when I was at the Star, and we had did a little story on you when you
article, yeah.
joined. So it's almost as if you retired for a little bit. You came out of retirement, said, hey, let's do this one more time.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Honestly, I felt like the grandma there it was a struggle, man, get up and down the court. But like I said, I had already been coaching, so I was just trying to learn as much as I could still, you know. I mean, even now I'm still trying to learn and see what I can pick up so that I could, you know, help with these kids and teach them, you know.
And for the high school kids, you know, I'm sure when you left to join the team again, I'm sure they were a little starstruck as well.
Yeah, I remember they would send pictures or like a screenshot of like Twitter, and it was kind of funny at the time because when I was playing, it was more just like my friends sending things like that when I was doing something, but now it's kids, and it's like, man, like just trying to make an impact any way I can, just to let them know, like, doesn't matter, you're 3 years out of college and working, starting your career already, and you still go and take a leap of faith to go play and try out for the Mexico national team, so.
Definitely. We're joined by former Harlingen South Lady Hawk and former UTPA Bianca Torre. Really an amazing story, from where we started, from when you decided to first pick up a basketball and really pursue it, playing for Coach Engelman, and your story there at South to Pan Am and all the way to the Mexican national team, Bianca. Before we wrap up, any shout outs you want to give to maybe any of your athletes, any of your family or friends that may be watching?
Well, I don't know if any of my family or friends are watching, but no, just really to each and every person that I've met along the way in my basketball journey. They've made a huge impact on my life. Like I said, whether it's a little season or a little chapter in my book, or have continued through this journey of mine, but just really appreciate it. A lot of my friends' families, they, took me under their wing on weekend tournaments when my mom couldn't because of money. And, I just appreciated everybody along the way. It really helped me to help me become the person I am today. And I will always be grateful for that. And it's all because of the sport of basketball. It's introduced me to these people. And yeah, I'm really appreciative for that.
Coach Debbie Esparza, she commented, the one and only B. Areli Rios Tamez says, great job, Bianca. Feels like just the other day you were in my 6th grade class.
Yeah, she's my teacher.
Yeah, she's like, I'm always going to remember you carrying a basketball.
I would carry basketball to school all the time. But yeah, Coach Esparza, Ms. Tamez, that's really nice.
Coach Carmona says she has great memories. Lizette Esparza commented with a heart. Edna Montaz says, one of the best athletes the Valley has ever had. Amy and Trey Dickey, Tegan and Addison's parents, they said great role model and great young lady. Ricardo Daniel Cavazos, greatest girls basketball player ever in the Valley history and a terrific person.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they're tuning in. Beatrice Cruz says, awesome job, Bianca. Jay Santa Maria, of course, our guy Jay, he's always watching our shows. He's tuning in, of course. The Santa Maria is there. So they're still playing basketball at Edinburgh High.
Yeah. Well, Janessa, I think might try UTSA. So, and Jayla's at TOU. Hopefully, a younger Santa Maria gets something too as well.
Right, yeah. They were fun to watch, and of course, Cassie Valdez's mom, Jennifer Valdez, says what a great story.
Thank you.
Dolores Cruz just commented. She's an awesome role model. So the support's there. I know the fans are there. All the fans are there, and I know when you came to the White Wings game, I remember it was a big deal. They were like, Bianca Torre is coming to our game, and I think we even had you throw out the first pitch.
Yeah, it was a terrible throw, but I remember that.
You're lucky I don't have a picture of it. Otherwise, I'd have shared it on here.
I'm glad you don't have a picture of that, Kevin.
I know Coach Chase was he was just a proud papa sitting up there in the press box when you were down there, and when he brought you up to our beloved press box there in Harlingen. But yeah, definitely, and I know Tom Bald was there as well. I'm sure you remember him.
Yeah.
Still keeping score. So, but Bianca, yeah, we had Claire Novato on this show the other day, a couple weeks ago.
Softball player,
right? She played on Chaos. She played at La Jolla. We talking with softball coaches around the Valley, a lot of them feel she's the best ever to play softball when it comes to, the Valley and setting the standard on going to Arkansas, playing Division I softball. A lot of people in the basketball community feel you're the same way. You were a tone setter, a trend setter for kids to say, hey, we can go play D1 ball. And I always call you the GOAT when it comes to girls basketball. We always joke back and forth about that, but when the interesting thing with Claire was that she said, I didn't realize until I came back from Arkansas and saw the Valley athletes here to realize, oh wow, my play and the things I did had that much of an impact on these kids. When was it for you that you saw that you were having that impact on the basketball community and girls basketball here in the Valley?
For sure. When I went to UTPA, I think it was evident then. I think I had a little bit in high school, seeing it like with the athletes and how they would see me and they get all excited, all starstruck, and someone would start shaking. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? But I honestly, that's how I was as well. Growing up, I saw Mara Guzman, and to me, to this day, I feel like she is the best point guard to ever come out of the Valley. And I remember when I was with my mom one time, we saw her, and once we passed her, I remember telling Mom, like whispering, "Mom, that's Mara Guzman." And I was like, "Oh my gosh," I was starstruck. I hadn't known her then. I ended up playing with her at UTPA, but when I was at UTPA, I had gone to Walmart and I had passed by this couple, and then I overheard them. They're like, "That's Bianca Torre," and I'm thinking, man, like, goes around full circle. I guess it does happen. So, well, because of that, I didn't want to do anything bad. I tried to do anything I could to be like good role model. And so, yeah, I guess I would say at Pan Am, that's when it all started. And when I went to Mexico, and obviously coming back from the second round that I went to play, and being the role model for my athletes now there at Edinburgh High School.
Definitely. So. Well, Bianca, before we let you go, again, any shout outs or anything like that? Anyone that might be watching?
I don't know who's watching, but whoever's watching, thank you. And to the people that commented online, I really appreciate it. For them to say that to them, I'm the best basketball player is a huge compliment, but there's a lot of amazing female athletes here in the Valley. And so and if you're younger right now, if you're watching, I just hope that they get to compete at the next level, because it's an awesome experience. And I think every athlete should have that opportunity.
Definitely. I promised we'd keep the Pan Am train rolling. We had the great Jim Lancaster on earlier today, and he shared a lot of Pan Am stories, and he and I could have kept on going for hours. And we're here joined by, again, Harlingen South, Bianca Torre, and former UTPA Bronc. Later today at 5, Adi and Sabian Arsenault from Brownsville Hannah. Sabian graduated this year. Adi graduated a couple years ago. They're both going to be playing at the college level. Yeah. A brother-sister combo right there. So the Arsenauts are going to be joining us later today at 5. So that should be awesome. A lot of fun.
I remember seeing Adi play, actually.
Yeah, well, she played basketball, softball, volleyball. And
I remember her. She's a good athlete.
Yeah, she did just a little bit of everything for Brownsville Hannah, and she's playing college softball these days. And her brother, I believe, is going to be running track at the college level as well. So,
nice.
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, we're seeing a lot of these kids get a lot of these opportunities. Especially on the female side. Me personally, I love covering softball. And I love covering girls basketball. Especially here in the Valley. And I think when it's good, it's really good. When you get Harlingen, Westlaco, Edinburgh, Westlaco, especially this year, they had to have that play-in or that seeding game for the top seed in the district. So it's definitely a lot of fun. So Bianca, thanks for taking the time for joining us, and we figured it out.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for having me, and sorry it took forever with this technology stuff.
Not a problem at all. So again, just hopefully we'll see you soon, whether it's on a track or a court. I believe sports will be back in the fall. Might not be on time, but again, thanks for joining us, and just be safe.
Yeah.